Welcome to our marketing automation series. My name is Jason St-Cyr. Today, we're going to dig into listeners and decision points. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a listener and how is this different from a decision point? So in general, listeners are used to control how a contact is going to move through a campaign, either through a yes or a no path, but with a timeout condition. After that specified amount of time, the contact will move along through the campaign, either the yes or the no path, based on how they meet the conditions at that time. Decision points are similar in that they are conditions that can send contacts down a yes or a no path, but they evaluate immediately. Decision points can also only be used after a listener and not any other point in the campaign, unlike a listener. Now, let's take a look at what's inside the toolbox. Now, first up is the campaign activity triggered listener. This is great when you want to determine if a contact has triggered one or more campaigns. And if they have, they'll move down the yes path. First thing we do is we specify the name. Then we specify the campaign that they are going to trigger. Now, this is where things get confusing. We're editing a campaign and we're selecting a campaign. The campaign in this case is also known as a campaign activity, defined elsewhere in your marketing dashboard, as opposed to a marketing automation campaign. Once we have our campaign selected, we can then select how long we want to listen for. Next up is the goal triggered listener. It's very similar to the campaign activity triggered listener, except it's for checking for goals. Similarly, we specify a name, we select the goal, and then a time for listening. The outcome registered listener is similar to the goal and campaign variations, but instead checking for outcomes, one or more of them. First we give it a name, then select an outcome, and then the time to listen for. Now, the visit listener is a little bit different. This one is going to evaluate if a contact visited the website. It's useful if you're going to gauge engagement with your web presence, especially if you have a campaign that's going to react over a longer period of time and you need to wait for the user to come back to you. This listener is going to let you set the name and a time condition only. The most flexible listener is the custom listener. This is perfect when you want to build your own rule, using the rule set editor so that the contact will move down the yes or no path based on a rule evaluation. First, we set up the name, but then we're going to start building out a rule. In our case, we're going to check to see if someone is entered into a particular channel. We select the rule condition, specify the channel that we want to have, in our case the email marketing, and then save. Finally, like with our other listeners, we select how long we want to listen for. The conditional decision point element is very similar to the custom listener we just saw. You can specify a name and create a rule in the rule set editor that will be evaluated immediately against the contact without having a listening delay. Now, this would be great if you needed to, say, filter the contacts after a particular goal was triggered or an outcome registered. You could then add a number of decision points and filter those contacts based on different maybe genders or locations. In our case, we're going to set up something based on their marketing preferences. In our case, if the contact has revoked their consent, we're going to send them down the yes path and otherwise down the no path. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.